So hello there. What you would have just seen is myself spraying before a run this fragrance here, Ard Al Zaafaran Oud 24 hours. If you didn't see my video yesterday, essentially I got ChatGPT to rate my 3 Middle Eastern fragrances to pick the best one based on the 10 questions I asked it. And this was the one they chose. And because of that, it became today's sort of fitness fragrance. So essentially I've been on a bit of a journey today. My usual routine, for those of you that have seen these videos before, go for a run and then walk to the gym, do my gym workout, and then I walk home. And ultimately, it's now nearly 1 in the afternoon. I've done 18 miles exercise today, so a lot. And every step of the way, whatever I've been wearing during my exercise, during my workouts, this has been on the skin and on my clothing. So yeah, I really wanted to give it a full review today based on things like price, versatility, its projection, longevity, and just the overall compliment factor, because let's be honest, we all want compliments. So yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go all the way back, and we'll come back in the room later on, but I've filmed the journey today so I can share some of my scores, and then we'll give an overall verdict whether you should buy Ard Al Zaafaran Oud 24 hours. Enjoy. So you would have just seen ChatGPT basically did a note breakdown for me, just sort of talking about the top notes, the heart, and then the base notes. Just want to mention, it says it's called Oud 24 hours, and like ChatGPT says, Oud is not prominent in this. I don't even notice it. I've had Oud fragrances before, and I think I know what that note is. And yeah, I can't notice it, so don't worry too much about the name of this. The name might put you off, but it is essentially a clone of Black Orchid. Again, if you haven't smelled that, from my opinion, I don't look too much at fragrance notes. I don't really look at it too much because, again, I find it very subjective anyway on what these things smell like. Everyone has their own opinion. To me, in my opinion, this smells like dark chocolate with a floral sort of note in the background. I don't know if that's the patchouli or what, but it's basically like a dark floral fragrance. In that sense, floral tends to be more feminine, but this is definitely unisex. I said leans feminine, but I'm more than comfortable wearing it. I don't think it's a fragrance for younger people. I don't think if you're that sort of macho man, you may potentially want it, that alpha male that lifts the heaviest weights at the gym. But if you're someone who wants to dress like in a shirt like I am today, I think it's perfect for that. I really do. I think it does absolutely that job. So yeah, just really a couple of considerations there. And as I said, that's my interpretation of this note breakdown. I don't really get the citrus sort of notes. I do get that sort of spicy vibe that they mention on there as well. But yeah, definitely for me, the chocolate and the floral notes really kick through. It's super hot this morning. Storms are forecast. To be honest with you, yeah, it's just like you're walking into a steam room. Certainly melting, that's for sure. Anyway, I'm going to do 2 categories on my run today. So price is going to be the first one. Now I'm going to go on to versatility. So price. So I kind of say this without knowing the scent. Obviously, we've seen the scent breakdown, or the note breakdown. But yeah, Tesco said it, which is really weird. Do I think it's worth around that sort of £15 mark, which is what you can get it for? I absolutely do. I think anything for me under £20 is safe to blind buy. Obviously, if you're watching this and considering buying it, you've seen there's some really weird notes, things that you wouldn't necessarily think would go together. So dark chocolate, mandarin orange, patchouli, they're all sort of a mix between floral, citrus, and those sort of sweeter winter notes. And again, I think if you're looking for something that's quite different from what you'd expect in that price range, this is the one. As I said, normally when you get cheap fragrances, they tend to kind of just be one dominant thing. It's quite fresh, it's quite synthetic. I think this will just give you that extra complexity for that price, as you know, the note breakdown. So yeah, I think for the price it's fantastic. It's definitely worth that, and I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10 for that reason, because I think it's safe to blind buy. But if you've got that knowledge already, it's one of the most complex fragrances I know for that price range. Anyway, on to versatility. So versatility. So how adaptable is it to seasons, occasions,
is it unisex, all those things. So just touching on again, as I said, the note profile is very, very mixed between sweet, fresh, floral, and that does make it versatile. Now I think this definitely is more sort of suited towards women. However, you can put it off as a man, but I don't think it's going to be mass pleasing for a lot of men. I don't think it's that sort of scent men will be looking for. But you know, I think it's absolutely unisex. I really do. It's like a dark floral chocolate smell. That's all I can really say. I think those florals make it seem certainly more feminine because you can really smell them coming through. But if you're a man who likes floral scents, it's absolutely fine. And those darker, sweeter notes which you get in this, they mean that you can wear it in different seasons. I think the best time to wear this is undoubtedly in transition seasons, so spring and fall, because it's one of those where it's not too heavy, but I don't think it's going to cut through the cold or really survive in heat. It could become a little bit cloying as well in that sort of really hot weather that we've had, but you could certainly dress it up. Job interview, like it said on ChatGPT yesterday, would be perfect for that, and it would certainly be noticed because again, for that price range, you're just going to smell really different. I don't think this is a youthful scent. I think if you're under 20, you're just getting into fragrances, this isn't for you. Or if you just casually just want something to smell nice, absolutely not. But if you're someone who's really trying to go a little bit out there, try and be a bit different, this is the one. Now, of course, I'm wearing it running today, and it's not suited to that really at all. But dress up, smart casual wear, and as I said, any sort of occasion, even like a wedding, job interview, just office space, this will do the trick. So I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. I'm being generous this morning.
So that's my run all done. Managed to do 11.5 miles this morning. I surprised myself. I ended up going a bit further out than I thought, and it was further than I expected, so all good. Anyway, projection is the next one I want to look at. So how did it project on my run? Pretty well. I'd probably say I picked up the scent about 5 or 6 times during the run where, particularly when I changed direction and the wind's kind of behind me again, it did kick up, and I wasn't like reaching for it to smell it. So it did sort of, it was quite subtle, but it was there, and I noticed it. And this was, I think the last time I probably noticed it was about 10.5 miles. So 10.5 miles in, and I can still smell it on a coat that's not like fabric that soaks in. That's not bad at all. Very impressed with that. You would have just seen I've sprayed upstairs, so I've done a room spray test. Drink my coffee first, essentially. Then I go back to my room and see if it's filling the room. So I kind of, again, want to see how it projects. If you're wearing a lot of it and you're sitting in an office all day or even at home, if someone walked in, would they notice it? So I did 20 sprays. It'd just be interesting to see if I can smell it. This will take me 10 minutes to drink. So let's see if it can last and fill the air for those 10 minutes. Time to go upstairs and see if I can still smell it in my room. Right, here we go. Wow. Do you know, that is a lot stronger than I thought it was going to be. I don't find it tends to really project this one, but that has certainly filled the room. Now, of course, I've sprayed quite a lot. I appreciate that, but that's really pleasant. That's really, really pleasant. I think it's one of those fragrances, in the air, it smells better than when you smell it up close. Yeah, I think that surprised me. I didn't think it'd be that strong, so I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for that, because it's nice. It's not too in your face. It's, again, I think the scent is quite different for a lot of people, but I can't give it a 10. It's not really, really strong. It's not right, absolutely filled the room, but that's probably a good thing. But 8 out of 10 for that. That's strong, but it's not overpowering. It's not going to choke anyone out, and it's very pleasant. So it's doing well, this. Right, time to head to the gym now. While I walk down there, I'm going to talk about compliment factor and sort of the scent just a little bit more. But obviously, I know I've talked about that a bit already. But essentially, it's compliment factor and experiences I've had with it.
So compliment factor and the kind of just the scent in general. So we've touched on the fact it's quite a unique scent, like a dark floral. I'll be honest, I've had this fragrance a few times. I think I probably first had it about 6-7 years ago. I've never worn it for compliments. I think it's too mysterious for that. I think when you look at what's popular today, Dior Sauvages, in the past 1 million, Invictus, all those ones, they're quite a safe scent, and safe and clean, I think, is always going to be the best of compliments. This isn't that scent. This is very much someone who's wants to be a bit mysterious, I think, a little bit different from the rest, and almost it's more one of those ones which you go, oh, what is that? That's sort of intriguing, rather than going, oh, you smell really nice. It doesn't really do that for me. So I'd probably say in that sense it's, it's not one for the sort of compliment. What I would say in terms of, if I get any today, obviously at the gym, I'll mention it because I've got it in the bag. I'd probably say the only person that's ever really mentioned it smells like, because I don't tend to choose it. This is the thing. If I'm going out to the compliment, I wouldn't wear it. It's probably my mum. My mum ended up buying it. She goes, well, that's really nice. And and then obviously she bought it for herself, so I was saying, but do I really want someone, like a woman, to smell it, go, that's really nice, I want to buy it? I don't think I really do in general. So yeah, it's, as I said, it's very pleasant. I think it's definitely got that signature scent about it because it's different. But because it's different, it's not one of those compliment factor fragrances. Not to say you won't get them though. As I said, it's certainly not unpleasant or, really harsh or anything like that. But yeah, I just think it's more one that would intrigue people rather than, you instantly go, oh, that's lovely. I think it's one that you'd almost have to build that love for it. So I'm going to give it a 5.5 in that sense. I don't think it really is a compliment fragrance, albeit very nice and definitely signature scent worthy.
Right, time to see if I get any compliments. Right, so I've got no compliments, but I can still smell it. So it's performed. It's one of them. It doesn't really kick off. I know I've had some sort of projection from my run this morning, but it's not really strong like that. It's more of something that just lingers on close, but it's done really well. But ultimately now, to test how good its overall longevity is, it's got to survive the shower test. So time for a shower.
So I made a bit of a silly mistake today. Put long sleeves on, so I've had to roll them up so I can smell. Smell the other arm as well. Yeah, I'll be honest, I can't smell it. I can just smell the shower gel I've put on. So it hasn't performed that well, but in a weird way, I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm quite glad it hasn't survived the shower, because this is one of those scents. I think if it was really strong based on its scent, I think it'd be really overpowering for a lot of people. And as I said, it's more one of them that just sort of lingers on your clothes. It's there, and you'll just get the odd waft of it without it ever really being overpowering. And I think that's absolutely perfect. I think that's what you want. But yeah, I think if you're wearing it in a warmer sort of climate, warmer day, you might want to take it with you to work and reapply. And I've just sprayed my jumper actually as well. And yeah, I just think it's one of those, you might just want to do a little top up. I mean, if you've got the black orchid and you took this to work, it would certainly be more than fine to top up the actual original fragrance without noticing any real difference in scent, because it's really close as a cloak. It's really good. So I'm going to say, for sort of its longevity, because it does last on clothes, but it doesn't last overly on skin. But considering I've said it, I don't want it to be too strong. Let's go 7 out of 10. I think that's fair. Yeah, so now it's time to add all the scores up and give my final verdict of why, or if I think why, you should buy it.
Okay, so we're back in the room. So we're back now to real time. Yeah, I have to say I've done a lot of exercise, as you know, today from what you've just seen, and I've really enjoyed wearing it. I have to say, it's not a fitness fragrance. It's not something you'd wear to the gym as a standard gym scent at all. But as I said, I just wanted to kind of use it today because I don't wear it very often. It's not one I tend to reach for. But I just want to give a couple of considerations very, very quickly before I give my overall score and my verdict. The one thing is, I think the presentation of the bottle is really lovely. It's not something I worry about, but I know some people do care about that. I actually really like it's got like a rubber lid to it. And yeah, it's just quite a nice feel. It's a nice feel. And the atomizer sprays really well. It's really, really nice. And one thing I like, now it's choking me out, is this bit here. Now, I don't know what you call this on the atomizer, but this bit here I find really stops these fragrances from leaking. When you tend to get cheap fragrances, they don't tend to have this bit. And I'll give you an example. I'll just show you one of mine that I've got that is a cheap one, doesn't have that part on the atomizer. So, okay. One like this. This is another clone fragrance, and this is from the S4. Really lovely fragrance. I've had no issues with them leaking. But yeah, they just feel a little bit more cheaply made, these bottles. Whereas this one, it feels like there's real care that's been put into it. It's got, quite a nice indentation. And again, for an eau de parfum that performs pretty well, and it isn't expensive, I think overall that is a really, really nice looking bottle. And yeah, performs well in terms of its spray. You'll certainly get enough projecting out of the atomizer. So yeah, just a couple of things to consider if anyone is interested in that. Ultimately, I just worry about how it smells. But sometimes I am influenced by what the bottle looks like because I do blind buy a lot of fragrances. So yeah, very happy with that. I think it's really sleek. Okay, so the overall score based on the 5 rounds that we did, so things like price, versatility, compliment factor, projection, longevity, 37 out of 50. I think that's pretty good. I have to say, I think that's pretty good. And I suppose ultimately, they're subjective, those things as well. I think it's amazing value for money, though. I really do. I think nobody could argue the value for money. Now, would I recommend you buy it? Now, this is the thing. If you've got this far in the video, I think you've probably got a bit of an interest in fragrances. Now, if you're someone who just wants a mass-pleasing scent and, you're just after compliments, I probably wouldn't go for this, if I'm really being honest. If you're a younger person, I just don't think it's that sort of fragrance. I think it's one that you've got to like, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I bought this fragrance for me. I've had it a couple of times, as I said, and I bought it again purely for me because I quite like that uniqueness of the scent. So someone who's a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more unique, and you have a real interest in fragrances, you really want to grow an interest in fragrances, this is great. And if you're someone who knows what Tom Ford Black Orchid is, and you just want like a fragrance that can top up that smell through the day, this will do it. The quality of it is fantastic, and you could definitely have this as a signature scent. You could definitely wear this to job interviews, weddings, office scent. As I said, it doesn't really project. However, it's there. It sticks on your clothes absolutely fine, and its longevity, as I said, it'll be there all day in that sense. But I think if it was really strong, based on its note profile with all the dark chocolate, the orange, and the floral notes in particular, I think it'd be too much anyway. So I think it's very good that it's not a really strong performer. But as I said, if someone gets close to you, they will notice it. And I think you will get compliments. However, I don't think it's one of those traditional compliment getters. So in that being said, would I recommend it for the price? Absolutely. I think it's a really nice fragrance, but it is unique. It's an acquired taste. But anyone who's a little bit mysterious, anyone who really has an interest in fragrances, it's a brilliant one to add to your collection. And as I said, if you have Tom Ford Black Orchid, I actually don't think you need it if you get this. I think that does more than enough for me anyway. Hope you've enjoyed this one today. Tomorrow it's going to be another darts video because I haven't done a practice last couple of days. I need to get back practicing. But there will also be another fragrance video next week as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you later.